Good evening. Welcome, everyone. I'd like to welcome everyone to the regular city council meeting, October 21st, 2024. Those who are able to stand, please rise and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Madam Clerk, may we have the roll call, please?
Flaherty is absent.
Here.
Schetz.
Here.
Benson.
Here.
Rent.
Here.
Thank you.
Item 4, closed session report. There is no closed session this evening. Moving on to item 5.1 is presentations. Our first presentation, I'll turn it over to Councilmember Vincent.
Thank you. First, I'd like to invite Debbie Baker to the podium. And as Debbie's coming up, as some of you know, Councilmember Tim Flaherty and I serve on the Interview and Nomination Committee. And over the past few months, we interviewed candidates to be considered for appointment to the Measure K Oversight Committee and Planning Commission. Tonight, I have the privilege of introducing the two newest members of the Measure K Oversight Committee, appointed by the City Council, Debbie Baker and Evan Daly, as well as David Mascara, who will be reappointed to the Planning Commission. For those of you who don't know, Measure K is a half-cent transaction and use tax or sales tax approved by Pleasant Hill voters in November 8, 2016. The revenue from the tax is used for important city services, including maintaining streets and storm drains, adding new sidewalks and walking and bike paths, and other projects, including the recently completed library. The Oversight Committee reviews semi-annual revenue and expenditure reports and audits to ensure that voter-approved funds are spent appropriately. The committee is composed of members representing various groups in the city, including the Pleasant Hill Chamber of Commerce, Friends of the Library, a representative from the Traffic Safety Commission, a professional in a financial field, and 3 Pleasant Hill residents active in the community. Now that you know what the committee does, I'd like to introduce you to Debbie Baker. Debbie was appointed to fill a vacancy for a Pleasant Hill resident. Debbie is relatively new to Pleasant Hill, having moved here just 3 years ago. She is retired now, but had a 40-year career in finance and served as managing director for Oxford Finance, executive vice president of Capital Advisors Group, and assistant treasurer for ASK Computer Systems. She has a passion for volunteering and has participated in various programs, including PTAs, a Head Start program, and programs that provide food, clothing, and assault survivor kits. Debbie also participated in the city's local government academy this summer to gain a better understanding of what the city does. So welcome, Debbie, and if you'd like to say a few words, you're welcome to do so.
Oh, thank you. Well, I just wanted to take a quick moment to say thank you to the council for this opportunity. I'm really excited to get involved with Pleasant Hill. The 3 years I've been here, it's just been, I just have fallen in love with our city. And I'm really looking forward to serving the city in this capacity. So thank you.
All right, thank you.
Thank you so much.
And I'd next like to invite Evan Daly to the podium. Welcome.
Good evening.
Evan was also appointed to fill a vacancy on the Pleasant Hill as a Pleasant Hill resident on the Measure K Oversight Committee to complete an unfilled term through June of 2028. Evan has been a resident of Pleasant Hill for over 34 years. He has been actively involved in attending community events and heavily involved in youth sports, including the Pleasant Hill Martinez Soccer Association, Pleasant Hill Aquatic Swim Team, Next Level Sports, and the Pleasant Hill Baseball Association. He is a self-employed lawyer with Thomas Lighting, Cartier, Amon, and Daly. I may have gotten that wrong, LLP. His case experience has ranged from consumer debt collection to medical treatment disputes, and is a certified workers' compensation law specialist. Evan is also serving as Pleasant Hill's alternate representative on the County Connection Advisory Committee. So welcome. If you'd like to say a few words, please do.
Thank you very much, Alan. I also appreciate the opportunity. I don't have the background as my compatriot here in public service like this, but I love the opportunity to, get involved. I have 3 young children myself. I have multiple cousins, nieces, nephews, so I'm very concerned about the roads, and I love the library. And as a taxpayer, I'd like to make sure that the money is going where it's spent and spent properly. So I really appreciate this opportunity to get involved, and I look forward to working with you in my limited capacity.
All right, thank you.
Thank you so much.
And next, I'd like to invite David Mascaro to the podium. No, he's here. There he is. As with the Measure K Oversight Committee appointments, Councilmember Flaherty and I interviewed and considered candidates to fill an unfilled vacancy on the Planning Commission. There were a number of great candidates. However, we were fortunate to have David Mascaro apply for reappointment, and the City Council accepted the recommendation that he be reappointed to complete an unfilled term through April 2026. David previously served on the Planning Commission for nearly 20 years, from June of 2002 through April 2022. As commissioner, David reviewed numerous land use issues and projects, hoping to shape Pleasant Hill into the city it is today. David contributed to the city's general plan and numerous amendments to it, including housing elements and growth and circulation elements. It contributed to updating various sections of the zoning ordinance, including signs, trees, solar, density, bonus firearms, cannabis, accessory dwelling units, and wireless telecommunications. David reviewed numerous commercial, civic, and residential projects during his prior terms, including shopping centers, hotels, numerous single-family and multiple-family residential projects, and the new library. David has been a resident of Pleasant Hill for 47 years and is the owner of Diablo Trophies Awards, one of the city's longest-running businesses, established in 1957. On a personal note, I served with David for about 6 years on the Planning Commission, so I appreciate the work he's already done and look forward to your service in the future. And if you'd like to make any comments, please do.
Well, I'd just like to say I had a great experience for the first 20 years. And I don't know if I'll do another 20 years, but we'll certainly give it a try. I appreciate the reappointment.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
We get everybody?
That's it.
All right, drink some water, Alan. Great job. All right, moving on to item 5.2 is a proclamation designating the month of November as Native American Heritage Month. I'd like to invite our Diversity Commissioner, Lloyd's here with us tonight, right? There you are. Come on down to the podium. While you're coming down, I'm going to read the proclamation for you. And here we go. November is Native American Heritage Month, also referred to as American Indian and Alaska Native Heritage Month, which provides an opportunity for us to reflect, honor Native American cultures and traditions. The movement first recognized Native Americans back to 1916, when New York State became the first to declare an American Indian Day, with support and advocacy of Dr. Arthur Parker, a Seneca Native American archaeologist. The history of Native Americans is known for perseverance, survival, and a commitment to and pride in Native heritage, right to self-governance, and protected ways of life. Despite a painful history marked by unjust federal and state policies of assimilation and extermination, Native Americans have persevered. Native Americans strengthen communities by sharing their history, steward lands and waters, and celebrating the good of our nation, while pushing us to tell the full truth of our histories. Native Americans have long served the United States military, fighting for democracy and indigenous communities, and continue to be an integral part of the fabric of the United States, contributing to our shared prosperity. Whereas Native American roots are deeply embedded in this land, and Native American Heritage Month is celebrated to recognize intertribal cultures and to educate the public about the heritage, history, art, and tradition of our Native Americans. Now, therefore, I, Matthew Rinn, Mayor of City of Pleasant Hill, on behalf of the City Council, do hereby proclaim the month of November 2024 as Native American History Month in the City of Pleasant Hill, and encourage our community to join us in celebrating the strong and enduring cultures and great contributions of Native Americans to our city, state, and nation. Thank you. Would you like to say any words?
Yeah, just briefly. Good evening, Mayor Rinn, fellow council members. First, my name is Lloyd Sheen, member of the Pleasant Hill Diversity Commission. And thank you so much for presenting the Native American Heritage Month proclamation from the City of Pleasant Hill to the Diversity Commission. This month, of course, also referred to as American Indian and Alaska Native Heritage Month, is a time to rejoice and celebrate the diverse and rich cultures, histories, tradition, and great contribution of Native Americans. It allows us to spread awareness about Indigenous people of America and to educate people about various challenges faced by them in the past and today. Let us also remember that Native American and Alaska Native history, like all American history, should be studied, recognized, and appreciated every day, not just 1 month out of the year. Thank you for striving to make Pleasant Hill a place where all people feel a sense of belonging.
Thank you.
Shiny. It's shiny.
All right. Moving on to item 5.3. The proclamation designating the month of October as Breast Cancer Awareness Month. What I'll do is I'm going to read this. I don't believe we have anyone accepting on behalf, right, tonight? So, okay, fantastic. But it's still very important. So item 5.3 is a proclamation where the month of October is recognized as nationwide as Breast Cancer Awareness Month, a time to honor those impacted and to spread hope. Whereas October 18th, 2024 is National Mammography Day, established to encourage early detection methods. Breast cancer is the most common cancer among women next to skin cancer. The chance of developing breast cancer at some time in a woman's life is currently about 13% or 1 in 8 chance. Over 300,000 new cases of invasive female breast cancer will be diagnosed in 2024. An estimated 2,800 new cases of invasive male breast cancer will be diagnosed in 2024. Advancements in early detection methods such as mammography continue to increase chances of survival, and this X-ray is recognized as the single most effective method of detecting changes that may be cancer long before physical symptoms can be seen or felt. Today, there are approximately 4 million breast cancer survivors living in the United States. Whereas the City of Pleasant Hill, the City of Pleasant Hill Police Department displayed the symbolic pink ribbon on their uniforms and in various communication channels to honor this important month, the estimated 42,250 U.S. women who will lose their life to breast cancer in 2024. Now, therefore, I, Matthew Wren, Mayor, City of Pleasant Hill, on behalf of the City Council, do hereby proclaim October 2024 as Breast Cancer Awareness Month in the City of Pleasant Hill and call this observance to the attention of all of our citizens. I'll pass that on. And I believe that's it for our proclamations this evening. We will go to item number 6, which is city manager comments, and I'd like to invite our city manager, Ethan Binder-Nagel, for his comments this evening.
Thank you, Mayor Wren. Good evening, council. A couple of quick announcements for you this evening. A reminder that the candidate write-in period for eligible residents in districts 1 and 5 who would like to run for the city council will end tomorrow, October 22nd. Write-in candidates who file and qualify by the deadline may have their names manually added to the November ballot by residents of districts 1 and 5 to count as a recorded vote. Only members who file paperwork with the city clerk by October 22nd, 2024, that is tomorrow, are eligible to run as write-in candidates. And for more information on the election process and write-in candidates, you can always visit the city's election candidate information page on the city's website. Secondly, wanted to mention that as we approach the end of the year here, the Pleasant Hill Commission on Aging is hosting a presentation and a facilitated discussion on coping with grief during the holidays. The event will take place on Wednesday, November 13th from 1:30 to 2:30 p.m. here at City Hall in the large community room. If you are interested in learning more about how to lessen the impacts of grief during the upcoming holiday season, you can pre-register on the city's website at www.phillca.gov/COA events. And lastly, on an upbeat note here, do you know someone or do you play yourself in a band? And if so, City of Pleasant Hill Civic Action Commission may be looking for you. They are searching currently for performers for next year's 25th anniversary season of the Sunset by the Lake Summer Concert Series. Applications are available online on the city's website and will be accepted from October 1st through middle of November, November 15th. So those who are interested can sign up online. That concludes my reports. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. Do any of my colleagues have any questions of our city manager? None of this, you do or no? We'll close item 6. We'll bring it to item 7, council member announcements and reports. 7.1, I believe just our city manager attended the League of Cities conference this last week. Anything to report out on that you'd like to share?
Just briefly, I did attend the Cal Cities annual conference. A lot of interesting topics. It was actually the most heavily attended conference in the conference to date in history. Is down in Long Beach. A lot of topics around the economy, which of course is of interest, but also other interest, perhaps more to staff than would be to the general public about kind of behind the scenes things, working on finances and other things at the city level. But it was well worth it, and I appreciated the opportunity to attend. So thank you.
Great. Any questions of our city manager? All right, we'll move to 7.2, general announcements from council members. I'll start to the far left, Councilmember Vincent.
I just have one event. I joined the Pleasant Hill Senior Centers on their bus trip to Treasure Island to view the Blue Angels. We had lunch and a great view of the event, so I enjoyed that. It was fun.
Great. Vice Mayor Noack.
I was supposed to attend the Cal Cities event, and I apologize. I was supposed to be representing council here, but I was on the East Coast with my 92-year-old dad who had some little bit of complications. So I was there for a couple of days. He's fine. But I ended up having to miss the Cal Cities, so I apologize for not representing us there.
Okay. All right. And then myself, just attended the Chamber Mixer, which was held at Wise Girl this time. And then I had a very cool opportunity to go to the Momentum Station out at the Concord Naval Weapons Station. Some of you may know or may not know, but they're using currently, since there's buildings and roads, everything out there, but it's empty, autonomous vehicles. And so they can run through different driving scenarios, you know, where they can put two cars together and then they can pull like a dummy of a dog or a kid running between the cars. So and see how these interact to real-time situations, emergency vehicles, things like that. There's a few shuttles in the area that are being tested, certain neighboring cities. I believe there's one in Rossmore, Bishop Branch, Martinez. Is that right? I know, Sue, you're on MTC. You probably got them all. And
Yeah, so I'll quickly speak to that if
yeah,
that's
go ahead,
okay.
yeah, please.
It's actually done by CCTA, Contra Costa Transportation Authority. There are 3 pilots going on currently with the autonomous vehicles, one in Bishop Branch, moving people around to the different offices once they come down there by typically express bus. There's a second one in Rossmore, now moving folks at Rossmore around Rossmore. And the third one is just started in Martinez for people at the county hospital that may have gotten prescriptions or things like that, but have no way of getting to pharmacies or the grocery store, things like that. And so from in the afternoon till 2 to 6, they run people from the county hospital to different locations, set locations. And actually 6 to 10 at night, it's open to the general public. And you can get one of these autonomous vehicles at, I think there's like 20 or 30 stops in Martinez and take you to one of the other various stops. So those are 3 pilots going on currently with the autonomous vehicles.
Oh, it's very interesting. A little unnerving when you're in a car with no driver and it's just kind of going, and you hope it works out. But hopefully
They're operators.
They're operators in and
vehicles.
out, so yeah.
I just want to clarify. We're required to have operators in the vehicles. They're more like computer guys to get it going or go around an obstacle if it's not planned. So there are operators in all of the vehicles to make sure nothing's needed.
Yeah, the
They're
person
pilots.
person gave me the analogy of when they first had elevators that were automatic. They still had people riding in the elevator cars because they weren't sure about, like, if I push the button, is the elevator really going to go? So yeah, it takes, there's a learning curve for society, but it's definitely coming and being tested. So that was kind of neat. That'll conclude my report for meetings. Councilmember Chess.
Thank you, Mayor Wren. Last Thursday, I'm on the board of directors of the East Bay Economic Development Alliance, and they have their quarterly board of directors meetings. And the speaker at the meeting was the Port of Oakland, as well as the director of aviation for the Oakland Airport. And they came and spoke to the group about their expansion proposed expansion of the Oakland Airport. They are in the process right now where they're going to present their environmental impact report at their November 21st meeting. And what that entails is this is going to be a pretty substantial expansion of that airport. Right now, there's 29 gates in the Oakland Airport. Little bar game if you want to play. And there's going to be about 16 new gates that are going to be added to this, and also a modernization of the airport. It was asked whether or not there was going to be an improvement to the baggage area, which if you've flown into Oakland, you know that is a must, and it will be addressed. So that's great. So they're also looking for cities to kind of sign on as supporting this initiative through the Port District. About 3,000 jobs are going to be created as a result of this. And one of the things they pointed out, you may have heard in the news that they changed their name. So they're San Francisco Bay Oak, which I thought was a little kind of odd at first. But they said that it's really east of the Mississippi. People really don't know where Oakland is, and so they've really garnered more interest in that airport. And then also by having more gates, they're also going to be able to have more direct flights, which also may, if you notice, can be an issue sometimes out of Oakland if you want to go to the East Coast. So anyway, so that was a very interesting thing to see, and it's more to come on that. Obviously, they have a ways to go. But I just wanted to let everyone know about that. Also on a personal note, I wanted to thank my colleagues here at the dais for convening the meeting of this on October 7th in honor of my wife, Debbie, who perished, one of the 42,000 people in America who perished from breast cancer this year. And I just want to also, to them to not only convene it in her honor, but to speak so kindly of her is most appreciative by my family and me. I was really glad that I watched that from home and I could sit there with Kleenex. But also, too, I want to thank the staff for their support and also the community. There's people in this room that reached out to me, cards and notes and texts. And I just wanted to thank each and every one of you. I may not get back to you super fast, but I'm trying. I'm going to really, really try. But anyway, and as you heard in item 5.3, it's Breast Cancer Awareness Month. So for you women out there, please get it done. It added years to my wife's life because she was very diligent about it and she caught it early and she fought it for 17 years. So thank you and just appreciate everyone's support.
Great.
Thanks.
Welcome back. All right. With that, we'll move on to public comment. Item number 8, the public is welcome at this time to address the city council on items on the consent calendar or other items not listed on the agenda, but within the council's jurisdiction. Comments are limited to 2 minutes per speaker. You may provide comments by giving a speaker card to Leon over here at the dais.
He's coming.
Oh, sure. Okay, got one. Okay, she's already ready. She's coming. I got one here. And I appreciate her good humor with the Halloween skeleton box for our speaker cards, but I don't know, you gotta have fun sometimes in council meetings, so appreciate the good humor there. I do have 2 cards here, and it looks like we'll lead off with Reverend Liz is here tonight with us. And as you're walking up, I will note that we did receive a written correspondence this afternoon for item number 9.4 from a William Goodwin, and that'll be entered into the record as well. What's that? There is no what?
I believe your public comment is for item 9.4 of the action calendar, correct? So it'll wait for the next public comment.
No, it's on
It's on
consent.
consent.
Oh,
That's
I'm sorry.
consent.
Thank you. Pardon me.
Okay. But thank you. We can,
Good evening.
I'm sorry. Go ahead, Reverend.
Thank you.
Apologies.
My name's Liz Titchener. I'm the rector at Episcopal Church of the Resurrection, just up the street on Gregory Lane. And I'm here tonight to speak in opposition to the proposed ordinance that would make it possible to fine and arrest people for sleeping in their cars on public property. I support our police, and I am really grateful for the hard work they do in our community. I agree that our police force needs more tools in their toolbox, and I strongly disagree that creating the option of fining and arresting people for sleeping in their cars, even used with discretion and compassion as a last resort, is a worthwhile tool. In my community of faith, we look to the teachings of Jesus to guide our decisions, and he was clear that Whatever we do to the least of these, we do to him. So whether we feed or clothe or house the least of these, or whether we fine or arrest them when they are already living close to the edge, we do this to Jesus. If our police need more tools, I would advocate that we start by offering more care for mental health and substance abuse issues, more affordable housing, and more options for safe parking programs. At the very least, I would ask that this issue be removed from the consent agenda and tabled to give more time for public comment. Thank you for your time and your
Thank you for your
service.
comments. Next speaker card I have is Janelle. Good evening, Janelle. Welcome.
Hi. Hi, I'm Janelle. I'm Janelle Toll. I have served the city of Pleasant Hill as a commissioner for more than 17 and a half years in my history, and now I serve on the Mental Health Commission. I am also speaking against the ordinance for 9.4. I have either professionally or as a volunteer worked with homeless people for more than 30 years. And my experience tells me that putting them in the legal system is not healthy or good for them or us. It doesn't solve the problem. It makes their situation worse, which means that they're further away from care. We are tasked at the Mental Health Commission with spending the money or advising to spend the money for Prop 1. And I'm assuming everybody in this council knows what Prop 1 is. And we are working on it. I'm asking you to table this until we see what Prop 1 does. I'm asking you to maybe delay this to see what we can do as an alternative. I agree with Reverend Liz. Thank you.
Thank you. Do we have any other speaker cards for public comment or consent calendar?
There are no more speaker cards.
All right. With that, we will close public comment. At this time, I have a motion to adopt the consent calendar with the minutes.
Can I just address the
Yeah.
request to
Would you like to
table?
pull 9.4?
No,
Or-
I guess I don't really pull it. We did have quite an extensive meeting, public meeting on 9.4 when it was introduced. And while I appreciate all the comments, this is really something that is been instigated by state law changes. And so we are mirroring that to be able to give the police the tool that, but I think it was clearly expressed by the police that this is sort of the last resort, but it may be needed at some point. And so I just wanted to, delaying isn't necessarily going to change anytime soon, even with Prop 1. In my belief, the billions of dollars that have already been spent, until we get a CARES court and more facilities to actually support the homeless and the mentally disabled, this is going to be a tough one, but we do have to at times protect the public as well. And this is a tool that the police, I think, will use very judiciously. That was certainly Chief Vermillion's comments 2 weeks ago, or whenever it was 2 weeks ago. And I'm sure Matt Christic could address that as well if we need to. But at this point, I feel like we're respecting our police's judgment, and I would move forward with the consent calendar as a result of that.
Do you have a motion by Vice Mayor Noack?
I'll second.
I have a second by Councilmember Vincent. Do we have a roll call vote, please?
Noack,
Yes.
Chess,
Yes.
Vincent,
Yes.
Ren.
Yes.
Motion carries.
All right, moving on to item 10.1. It's a resolution authorizing the city manager to execute a design professional services agreement with NCE for engineering design services for the Taylor Boulevard Sidewalk Gap Closure Project. And Ryan, there, wow, look at you. You're good. Thank you for coming down. I'll turn it over to you for your report.
All right. Good evening, Mayor, council members.
So I'm here today to talk about awarding the design contract for the Taylor Boulevard Sidewalk Gap Closure Project. And so I'll just go through a little bit of background on what this project is. So to orient you, this is Taylor Boulevard between Civic Drive and North Drive Lucille Lane. And really what this project, the gap that this project is closing is one between recent work that the city has done. So kind of connecting a couple different pieces here. So to the east end, we have the Taylor Civic signalization project and sidewalk project that put in a new sidewalk along the north side of Taylor and a new crossing across Taylor. To the west, we have the work along the frontage that the 401 Taylor project did, including a new shared use path along Taylor Boulevard, and then also the new bike striping that went in with previous projects as well. So what this gap closure project will do is connect the two. And we're showing that along the south side of Taylor Boulevard. So this is what the two conditions look like now with the completed projects. So again, on the east side, the Taylor Civic signalization project put in a new crossing across Taylor Boulevard. To the south side, this is looking at the south side. And then you can see where the new sidewalk ends and the existing kind of broken path starts. On the other side of it, this is a picture of the new shared use path that connects all the way to the canal trail in front of the 401 Taylor project. And so again, these are kind of the two pieces that we're trying to connect together with this gap closure project. So there's the existing asphalt path along this. So this is the existing path along that gap. As you can see, it's pretty damaged by roots. So the goals of the project would be to replace the existing damaged path, adjust the grades, do some ADA improvements to make this more compliant with ADA. That would give us a continuous ADA path of travel all the way from Contra Costa Boulevard when that project is finished, down Taylor, cross over to this side, and then continue basically all the way up to the canal trail. So really creating a long path of travel for people to access. And then the idea that is more recent is to actually widen that path to serve people both walking and biking. So kind of a continuation of that path that was built for in front of the 401 Taylor project. And we do actually see with the new signal that went in, we do see high school students using this to bike down to get over to the high school. And a lot more people using this now that they can cross at the Civic intersection. And this ties in with a lot of the goals that we've been talking about recently, getting more people out there walking and biking, providing access to those who want to do that, really taking advantage of our trail network. So continuing to build out that trail network that that a lot of people showed a lot of love for through the 2040 general plan process, the 2024 bicycle and pedestrian master plan process. And again, this project was actually included in the most recently adopted capital improvement plan as well. So we went out we got a request for proposals out to design consultants for this. We received 2 proposals back. We're recommending awarding it to NCE, which is an engineering firm. They've done past work in the city, including earlier phases of Contra Costa Boulevard, as well as the Geary Pleasant Hill Road intersection work that was done. And then this is actually a rendering from their proposal that shows that as a wider path through there. So part of this idea to kind of expand this to be multi-use in nature came from their proposal. With that widening, it's going to require a little extra design work just because we're dealing with more of the grade situation that's out there. So to cover that extra design cost, we're also asking to transfer some funds from the Bike Ped program in Measure K over to this project. So just kind of a transfer of those funds over to this. And again, this is to cover design. And then once we have a design in place, we'll probably look for outside funding, grant funding to actually construct it and to support some city funds in construction of that. So that's it for my presentation. Happy to answer any questions.
Great. Do my colleagues have any general questions before we
Vice Mayor Noack.
17.9 being requested, but where's the remaining coming from? Is that Measure K? No.
Yes, it's actually mostly Measure K rollover
Okay.
funds from the
Oh,
previous
oh,
year.
okay. All right.
All right. Yeah. Questions at this time?
Yeah.
Councilmember Chess.
Yeah, thank you, Mayor. Could you just give an example of like, when you say ADA improvement, is it, because you look at that, it's like, wow, it's, you know, it looks pretty good. It just needs to be redone because there's roots and all that. So maybe an example, a couple examples of that would be cool.
Yeah, it's just, it's hard to tell from the photos, but there is some up and downs on the grade of this.
Mhm.
There's a general incline of Taylor Boulevard here. So we're not going to be able to fix the grade of the topography of this part of the world, so to speak,
Yeah.
but we will be able to potentially smooth out and even out some of those grades along that path to try and comply as best as possible with those ADA slope requirements.
And any tree removal you anticipate, or?
We're hoping to avoid any tree removal.
Thank you.
Thank you. Councilmembers, before open public comment, don't go too far. This time I'm going to invite the public to comment on this item. Comments are limited to 2 minutes per speaker. May provide comments by giving a speaker card to the clerk at the dais. Madam Clerk, do we have any speaker cards on this item?
There are no public comment cards.
See, I was ready to woo. Okay. Sorry. I had way too much fun after this.
Way too much fun.
All right, we'll close public comment and bring it back to the dais for further discussion and a motion.
I'll move the item.
All right, I have a motion by Vice Mayor Noack,
Second.
second by Councilmember Chess. Roll call vote, please.
Noack,
Yes.
Chess,
Yes.
Benson,
Yes.
Ren,
Yes,
motion carries.
thank you. We'll move to item 10.2. So accepting pre-approved accessory dwelling unit architectural plans for a permit-ready accessory dwelling unit program. Boy, that's a mouthful. Haley's like, I'm glad you said it, not me. And coming to our podium is our senior planner, Haley Crow. Take it away.
Thank you. Good evening, Mayor and members of the City Council. Tonight, I will be presenting along with our consultant where we are at with our permit-ready accessory dwelling unit program. We have created architectural plans, and so tonight we are requesting that the council accept the architectural plans as part of our permit-ready program. You may remember back in May, we selected RRM Design Group as the consultant to help the city prepare these plans. And so since then, we've been working diligently with them. We have come up with 3 separate floor plans, a studio, a 1-bedroom, and a 2-bedroom option. All of them are under 800 square feet, so they are all under a more streamlined a streamlined review under state law. And then we also have come up with 3 different design exterior styles that can be mixed and matched amongst the floor plans. And so now I'm actually going to turn it over to Randall Russum with RRM Design Group. He's joining us via Zoom to present the plans in a little more detail on how we came up with each version. I'm going to stay up here to help assist. I think with the slides might be needed.
Thank you, Haley. Yes, I'm Randy Russum with RM Design Group out of, we're all over the state, but I'm out of San Luis Obispo. My apologies for not being there in person tonight. That would be typically what we would do. I think this got moved up on the agenda and I was out of town, and we're patching this together as best we can so that we can get this project completed by the end of the year and sort of meet the state law requirements to have a pre-approved ADU program in place. I'm sure you've all seen the packet, and I'm more here to answer questions, but I will just sort of walk you through how we arrived at where we're at. We go through a process where we try to get to know your city. We do this in coordination with staff. We ask about different regions of the city, what the lot sizes are. We do sort of a Google drive through many areas of the city to start trying to catalog styles and character of the residential areas to come up with 2 components here that we find important. One is the available lot or the available ADU opportunities in lots. Depending on when an area developed, sometimes lots are wide, some are skinny, some are alley loaded, there's a whole variety that come together over the decades. And so we try to find what's prevalent in your community and identify unit configurations that would would work in these, because our goal is to try to have as many, at least one that will fit most of the lots within your community. Alongside that, we do a bit of a survey of the styles, the character, and try to fit in. As you might imagine, California Ranch, being that we're in California, is pretty darn common. So that's usually one we always have. But we find things from eclectic Spanish to Tudor to goodness, all different things along the way. In your particular community, it was truly a California Ranch, what made sense, a bungalow style. And then we were encouraged to pursue a modern. And I think that is as a consequence to what is out there in the sort of the pre-manufactured ADU and what some people are finding on things like Dwell magazine and stuff like that. So we're trying to provide an alternative that sort of competes with those. The purpose of doing this type of project is, as I'm sure you well know, that the state has made it very easy for people to put ADUs on their property, and you effectively have no design review. There's really, it's very limited unless you have objective design standards written into your ADU ordinance, and most cities do not have this. So this is a great way to create an incentivized ADU that your city can control the look, the character of the units, the size, and offer them to the community effectively for free, and because they're pre-approved, you're saving months in time having plans developed and reviewed. So it's sort of incentivized to use your plans. There's a great advantage to that. And in turn, you get to kind of decide what they're going to look like. So hopefully this results in designs that fit within your neighborhoods. Haley, we can kind of walk through these quickly. I'm sure everyone's had a chance to look at them. We have a very small unit, a studio, 1 bedroom. You put a door there, make it a 1 bedroom. It's kind of right on the cusp of that. Really nice little efficiency unit, only 14 feet across. That would fit in anyone who's got a 25-foot deep backyard, that will fit in there. We try to create a few options when we do these designs. As you might imagine, these small units don't have a lot of opportunity for options. But we do, because of available space, we've created the porches as options on all the units, and you'll kind of see that as we get to some of the renderings. And we can kind of scroll through those if you like. That would be the bungalow style, obviously without a porch, and then we've got a version with a porch. We can go to the elevations. Let's just click to the elevations on this one as a representative. They are not super, exciting. And we try to focus on 2 sides of the building to bring design into it that will fit within the neighborhood and the lot. The other 2, because of state law allowing this to go down to 4 feet setbacks. When you get below 5 feet, you have there's a reduced amount of openings you can have and things of that nature. So it gets a little less interesting on a couple sides, because we try to design these to fit into a corner of a lot, potentially at that 4-foot setback. Some jurisdictions kind of look at that and go, well, if we're looking for more, and that becomes a challenge. So we like to have that conversation. Haley, if you want to scroll through just the renderings is probably a great way. This is what we're approaching as a California Ranch. Now, I want to say that it's designed as party type cementatious siding, and this is an example of, if the main house is all river rock and horizontal stone or horizontal siding, then of course that's what the end user would do, and match the colors of the primary residence. This is just to show an example of how it manifests itself in this style. And then we got a little porch on that one, and we can click past that into the modern. And you've probably seen things like this on various websites, and very simple shed roof, few modern lines, very clean stucco look there. So we don't belabor this, let's go to the second plan. Thank you. Perfect. So we've got a more of a true 1 bedroom. We designed these in this particular case to be adaptable bath. You could have a bathtub, you could have a shower. It actually has the ability to be aging in place, universally adaptable. The laundry is designed, right now we're showing it side by side because that for ambulatory limitations, that works much better than a stacked. But on these small units, a stacked washer and dryer works a heck of a lot better because it gives you more room for storage. So we kind of create it so it has both those options. You might notice you look around here, we still have an optional porch. We kind of talk about various windows that can be configured into doors. If you had a side entry versus or an end entry versus a side, we try to incorporate those options into the design. Maybe we click through just the renderings of these, and we'll take you to the third one. And please stop me if you have any questions along the way. I tend to keep on talking, especially in this remote atmosphere here. And that's the modern one. I think that one came out real nice and still kept with the same. We do the same engineering where the truss packages become very similar. It's really, we achieve the same efficiencies and just change the styles. And we'll go to the third plan. And then this one is a 2-bedroom, just under 800 square feet. Again, we've got a larger adaptable bath, a larger living room, a couple of decent sized bedrooms in there, both of them, in the 10 by 12 range, 11 by 12. And we also have the optional porch on here. And that's kind of what we can show through the renderings there. And then we try to keep the character, even when we don't have a porch, to kind of still have some character on the front of it. And then our modern, yeah. And that's what we brought forward for you today for, to introduce you to the program. We're about ready to go into the permit drawings, the construction drawings. And this is a perfect opportunity to share the designs with you and get some feedback and let you know what we're doing. So I'm here to listen and answer questions at this point.
Great. Councilmember Vincent.
I know this is a new program, but some cities have had pre-approved ADU plans for a while. Do you have any idea how long it takes the public to become aware of it and how successful the programs are?
I don't know if I can speak how it is in other cities. I do know we have had a few members of the community already reach out to us, either through planning or our building division. So we're starting to grow a small list of interested parties already. And, obviously once this is ready to go, it'll be on the website and we'll do some outreach. So I don't know from other cities' experience, but I'm hoping we can, get some.
Does our consultant have any insight on that?
As to how well they're adopted typically? Well, I'll tell you, I've already been contacted by a couple people from your community wondering about when they're going to be ready and what we're doing. So I think that was a positive sign. Most communities have some sort of outreach program, whether it's, this is a great example. Maybe we follow up at the end of the process when we have the permits or the pre-approved plans in place, and make that part, share that with you so you guys can put it out to the public. Also, informational handouts on the websites are always great ways to do that. It's really dependent on the community. There are some that I've seen within a year, close to 200 units get done. And I've seen some where it's been like 4 or 5. So it's really kind of all over the map on that one.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, or not.
I don't have any questions.
Oh,
I
there you
know,
go.
unusual.
Councilmember Shed. Thank you. One of the questions I had was kind of, Councilmember Vincent kind of got my question there already. So the other one I had was, does AB 1332 have any kind of requirements for outreach, or is it just put this program in place?
I believe it just says it needs to be available on the city's website or needs to be accessible to the public. The bill itself doesn't actually have a lot of specific requirements in it. So.
Okay. Great. Thank you. All right. And then we'll open up public comment. So Haley, hang tight, don't go too far. At this time, I'd like to open up public comment. Public is welcome to address the council. Comments are limited to 2 minutes per speaker. You may provide comments by giving a speaker card to the clerk at the dais
Madam Clerk, do we have any speaker cards?
There are no speaker cards.
Man, I was getting ready to do this thing. Okay. Let's do last time. All right, we'll close public comment. We'll bring it back to the council for further discussion and a motion.
I'll move item 10.2.
I have a motion by Councilmember Vincent,
Second?
second by Vice Mayor Noack. I know you were a little slow on the tape there. May we have a roll call vote, please?
Noack,
Yes.
Chess,
Yes.
Vincent,
Yes.
Rin,
Yes.
motion carries.
All right. That being our last item for the evening, we will adjourn our meeting to our next regularly scheduled meeting, November 4th, 2024. If you haven't voted, make sure you get those ballots turned in sooner than later. Have a great night, everybody.